Hello and welcome again to the Kingdom Calls podcast. This is the football one. Looking forward to the All-Ireland semi-final on Sunday in Croke Park between Kerry and Dublin. Old rivalry renewed. Will Kerry continue their march to the 40th title, or will Dublin, as they were doing over the past decade or so, just had a measure of this Kerry side? But a completely different Dublin side this time round, and a few differences obviously in changes and the Kerry side as well. And this podcast is brought to you by Cronin's 00 Cider, which on a day like today is quite palatable and is something that a lot of people are resorting to. And with me also, of course, or with us also, we have Parker's Bar here in Kilflynn. We have the sign up there behind us, and it's the venue we're using as well. So we'd like to thank Mike, wish him well with the hurling and Crotta on Saturday, and he'll have entertainment here on Saturday night, whether they win or lose, I presume. And also, of course, on Sunday, the match will be available here on the big screen if you can't make it to Croker. But two men who are very likely to be in Croker join me, and that's John O'Dowd, who is the chief commentator with Clubber. He's also a freelance sports journalist, and he does a lot of work for the Kerryman. And in such a situation, one of his bosses is the chief sports writer of the Kerryman, who may give him nothing to do over the next month if I speak nicely to him and give him a lot of questions. That is Damien Stack. How are you, Damien?
Not too bad now, Mark.
How are you, John?
Not too bad now.
Good. Is the turf home?
Turf is coming along nicely now this week with the hot weather, so it's not home yet. No, we'll give it another couple of weeks of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're not superstitious.
Will you give me a hand?
No, I
Okay.
don't like to bend down generally unless I'm picking up my golf tee. I haven't hit the ball 300 yards. But tell me this: are you superstitious or something like that? Do you wait until after Kerry win the All-Ireland to bring your turf home? Because if you did, there's a number of years where you had some very barren times and no heat during the winter.
Yeah, the turf wasn't home till September last year, but that was mostly due to the bad summer weather.
Better weather today.
Yeah, we should get it home earlier this year, definitely.
And let's talk to Damo. Damo, I suppose recently you've had a side job. Saw you filming last Saturday night. Your good wife, Ndidi, was doing a concert in Tralee, in Maddens, and I was there, and I must say I was mightily impressed. I often wonder what she saw in you to marry you. But anyway, that's beside the point.
I wondered the same myself, Mort, to be honest. Yeah,
but her song and divorce gave me hope. But very, very interesting. And a lot of her stuff is on YouTube, isn't it? Some of it.
All the stuff's on Spotify, YouTube, music, iTunes and all that stuff, yeah.
So if anybody wanted to sample that type of music before she performs in the county game, we must get her in here to Parker's after the Cayley. Spell the name N-D-I-D-I. Yeah. So if you get N-D-I-D-I-O, we'll get her. And I'm sure you'll have enjoyed that. Now that ad is going to be worth a lot of money to me. Anyway, let's talk about Kerry and Dublin. John, first of all, I suppose Kerry and Dublin, as a young fella growing up, it invokes so many memories. For me, obviously, I was a young fella when they were the glory years. I'm no longer a young fella, as you can see. But I still enjoy, and the rivalry has continued. There was a spell when Kerry were completely on top, and Dublin really didn't figure. They went through a kind of a barren spell, and then they came, was it 2011 or whatever they started, and then they did the 7 in a row. So, and we were only always beaten, I think Jack chronicled the last day, by a point here and a point there. They were always pretty close. We could have beat them in 2019, couldn't we? And the ball was lost and they went downfield and got the equaliser, whatever it was, and went to replay, and they were full value for their win in the replay.
But even I think 13, I think Gooch went to centre forward,
and the first
and
half
that was
was
an
brilliant.
Unbelievable game. I think
11 was the one where Cluxton hit
with the Cluxton, and then I think
We should never have lost 2011.
Was 2016 Peter Crowley getting injured, or not injured rather, getting fouled, and
No, that,
we only lost that by 2 points.
And that could have been the swing there. So yeah,
one of them was a very bad day. I remember
that was 2015 final.
15 final.
Goal,
neither team played well.
No,
it was a poor day. 12 points to 9.
Yeah. So they've never really smashed us up.
No, but they've had like we were talking about there just before we came on.
Yeah.
And like we didn't beat them at all in 2010s.
So what's the record? Is it 2 wins we have over them?
I think they've beaten us in 6 of the last 7 anyway.
Since the start of the Air Weeks, we've beaten them once. And the start of the League was 2009 quarter final.
Wow. And remember, when we beat them in 2022, and it was a great win, but it was like, as Jack spoke about on Monday, it really came down to a miraculous free kick from Sean O'Shea from all of 60 metres out or whatever that day. And they were missing Con O'Callaghan in that match as well. And it still took us to the very pin of our collar to beat them. And they went on to beat us in the following year's All-Ireland final, when we would have been considered, we were the reigning champions, we would have been considered the better team, that they were on the way down at that stage, and they still managed to beat us by 2 points in that final. So I think any Kerry fan who is not giving Dublin the respect they deserve coming into this weekend needs their head examined, because this is a really dangerous, tricky game for Kerry. Because Dublin have no fear of Kerry. They know, and a lot of the players on the Dublin team know that they've had Kerry's measure over a period of time. So it's Kerry who has to go and prove that we are the best team in the country like we were last year. This is very similar to going in against Armagh, Tyrone and Donegal, which we did last year, and just doing the business and proving that we're the better team. There might be a little psychological thing there with the Dubs, but we have to get over that, and we have to go and win the game, simple as that.
You were talking to Jack, or you were among the lads who were talking to Jack on Monday evening, just to clear up for our viewers who may not be following it online or mightn't read the Kerry Man.
There are people out there who don't.
Oh, absolutely. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of them that do, and hundreds of thousands of them that don't. Who wants to read a comment? Anyway, let's move on quickly from that. Who do you think might be available? Who does he think might be available? Reading between the lines, I think that Shane Ryan is not available. He may be the number 16, but I don't think he'll be starting.
Oh, but he definitely won't be starting, because even if he was 100% fit right now, he wouldn't be starting because of Shane Murphy's performances. I get the impression Shane Ryan could be togged out and could be the sub goalie at the weekend, but like you say, he won't be starting. Tom O'Sullivan and Brian O'Begliak, you got the impression from Jack that they will be available for selection. Yeah. So again, it's whether he feels that they're ready to go straight into the starting lineup or whether he holds them in reserve, because I think one thing that we probably haven't spoken about yet, or many people haven't spoken about yet, is that the weather forecast for the weekend,
heat.
Yeah.
Roasting.
Like it could be 28, 29, 30 degrees by Sunday afternoon, depending on what happens over the next few days. So in that scenario, I think, and we'll discuss it in more detail later, but I think it'll come down to your bench as whether who's going to get over the line.
You'd be better off holding those boys.
You're better off, yeah. And
we could have 3 all-star footballers on the bench ready to come in, and not like
4 including Shane Ryan. Then
4 including Shane Ryan, but he won't come off the bench.
No.
We'll touch wood that nothing happens.
Wood,
but like, you're not talking about, these aren't old stagers who'd be coming. Sometimes you get a team and he's an all-star, but he's 33.
Talking about Paul Murphy?
No. I'm just talking about it's like maybe you might have a Dublin guy who might be 33, 34. Don't have anyone like that.
On the way down.
But these are guys in their prime.
Yeah.
You could have 3 prime age all-stars on the bench to come off.
Both of you, much to my dismay, are saying that Sean O'Shea, because of fitness, will not be started on Sunday. You
wouldn't say, never say never.
It's unlikely.
But it's unlikely. Even though he did get that 25 minutes or whatever it was against Tyrone last week.
And he has 2 weeks.
And he's had 2 weeks, but he didn't look sharp. He didn't look 100%.
And Jack practically admitted that it was a calculated gamble against Tyrone to give him that 25 minutes. Because, as he said, he's using the matches really to get players fit at this moment in time. They don't have the time to train properly for weeks and weeks and weeks to get these fellas ready.
3 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
we are playing 3 weeks
so
in a row.
You could see it at the time.
Yeah.
Shawnee came on as first sub to get minutes into him, in the belief that we would do enough to get over the line, to give us the 2 weeks. And we just and Jack even said, like, there's massive risk in trying to plot a course from one match to the next, not knowing that you will get over the match that you're actually involved in the first place, and then all your plans could go down the Swanee if you're out.
Yeah.
When you're looking ahead.
I suppose looking back before we look forward, briefly only looking back, and we look back on it last week, obviously, but just very quickly, you weren't with us last week. We were a shade fortunate to get over. It was resilience, it was leadership from the likes of David Clifford, etc., that dive by Keith Evans that got us over the line. I mean, Tyrone really pushed us to the very edge.
They did, and you know, I'm not one for bashing referees. It's a very hard job, but you could add up 4 points that Tyrone were kind of done out of, and we only won by we won by 4. But you know what I mean?
It was only one.
It was only one, you know. Exactly.
Yeah.
So like if Tyrone got level or had been ahead with that McCurry point, but you mentioned there about resilience and knowing how to win games, and we were kind of half discussing this as well earlier, that maybe we were good enough to win the 23 final and we didn't. I kind of think this Kerry team has now moved on to a level where they know how to win those games, where they can do what Dublin did in the last decade. Like, how many of those finals against Mayo back in the day, you could have said Mayo could have won those games.
Yeah. Definitely 2 or 3.
You know, but Dublin did win those games. I think Kerry are the team now that do win the games, even if they're maybe marginal. I think we win the marginal games.
Yeah, and I think, John, winning a game of that, you know, so tight, really pushed to the edge, I think when you win one of them, it kind of
it's the making of them.
It gives a team, it's like a tonic. It's something like we
It could be the best thing to ever happen to Kerry for 2026 is that match against Tyrone. And the fact that they were so close to being knocked out with a tired team on the day, they still managed to do enough to win that last kick-out. Just imagine if you lost that last kick-out.
Yeah.
That could have been curtains.
Who won that last kick-out, by the way? Can you remember?
David Clifford, which was another miracle, really. But the thing I look on
Does
from
he play with Crokes?
The thing I look on from 2 weeks ago is, and this might be harsh on some of the players like who had really good solid jobs that evening. I would consider only 4 players in that Kerry team really played to their true level in that match against Tyrone. Dylan Gainey, David Clifford, Gavin White and Shane Murphy. I still feel that every other player that was on the pitch that day I
think Sean O'Brien and had a really good game, and Mark O'Shea had a really good game as well.
Paddy Clifford was better than he had been in the previous weeks. But
and Graham Sullivan had his best game this year as well.
You still feel that
but there's more. There is absolutely.
So right, John, does this game or the outcome of this game hinge on what happens? It's a very obvious question. Happens at midfield, because now what happens at midfield means if you get possession of the ball and you attack, the other team is obviously in the defensive, and we know how potent our attack is, and we have been scoring from midfield possessions. So do you think that the 4 we've across the middle, you know, that there's anything Dublin? I know they have O'Cuffik Byrne in there, and more than likely Brian Howard, and Kieran Kilkenny will be out there.
Scully so they're
and maybe Scully be on breaking ball.
Yeah. But I mean, if they're out there, they can't be up front either. Yeah. Now, but can they disrupt? You see, if the ball is going long to them, that's fine. That's the kind of the piggery, as your man called it. That's where the war, that's where the battle takes place. But can they afford to have men everywhere? Surely Kerry can have a cornerback who will receive a short kick out and then move the ball through the lines. We have different ways under Shane Murphy, and we can kick the ball over midfield completely into Joe O'Connor, for example, on the opposing 65.
But you have to remember that Dublin and the forwards are pretty prime Dublin. A lot of them still have experience from those days.
I don't think Connor is 100% fit.
But you know, I mean, in terms of their guys,
he doesn't need to be good though.
But these are guys from
that. Like you.
He's like David. Like if you had a 60% fit David Clifford, like you'd still play him.
Still been. But
like that's what they're doing with Conor Callan, because he's got such an influence
they're
around
doing with him is
everybody
they're
around
putting
him.
him in a position that he doesn't have to sprint for
But
the ball.
Evan Comerford is, he's not Stephen Cluxton, but
He's a good kicker as well. In
he's their Shane Murphy. He is a very good keeper, very well able to pick out guys. So I wouldn't say that's Shane Murphy is playing brilliantly. Let's be real, but I don't think Dublin are just going to be hiking it up, and I think they've got the potential to do what we can do.
Yeah, in reality, with the 4 lads that we have, with Mark O'Shea, Sean O'Brien, Joe O'Connor and Diarmuid O'Connor, we shouldn't be losing the midfield battle to anybody.
Yeah. And we're not. Yeah.
Dublin won't be far off. Dublin won't be far off at all.
But go back to the Tyrone game, and how massive an influence was Con Kilpatrick in that match. One man on his own in that game had such a huge sway for Tyrone. Like he's that good a player. We didn't really curb him, even though we had like 4 really good men around that middle.
He's the David Cliffords of the midfielders.
He's a class player. Good. Like
Shane Enright in his column in the Kerry newspaper, available in all good newsagents, last week was saying, look, isn't it great we retained 84% of our possession or whatever it was. But then he pointed out on turnovers, Tyrone slaughtered us on turnovers. Yeah. Jack won't be happy with that. Mm-hmm. If Dublin are able to do something similar to us, like you were saying, if we win the primary ball, we can't be stopped. We did win the primary ball, and we nearly were stopped. So we have to be better on that, on that metric for sure the next day.
Well, my point is that Dublin have a chance because Kerry, they use blocks, they use screens at midfield, and Sean O'Brien is doing it, or whoever is doing it, or Mark O'Shea might be doing it himself for somebody else to catch the ball, and that puts opposing teams off. They can't get in among it. But I think the Dublin, the names he named, the Kilkennys and the Howards, etc., they can actually get in there and win that breaking ball and disrupt Kerry. So I don't think it's a given that Kerry will win midfield.
Kilkenny's a bull of a man. I mean, he's just. I love Kieran Kilkenny. I think he's a great footballer.
Howard was massive in that 2023 final on kickouts, if you remember.
But they're no spring chickens, though.
They're no spring chickens. But they're still not old lads, really. Those boys. I'd say, I don't know, off the top of my head, I'd say they're early 30s, 30 to 32 kind of age range.
It's a very
Howard and Scully would be younger than Kilkenny.
Other than Murphy, Paul Murphy, and
Paul Gainey.
We don't have a lot of over 30s.
No. I think it's Paul and Tig. I'd say after that, then I'd say we
Dublin have virtually the exact same forward line as what beat us in 2023. And you can say whether some are older or some are injured or some are better than they were or some are worse than they were. But definitely, I wouldn't have expected Niall Scully and Paddy Small to be playing as well as they are right now. If I go back 3 years to 2023, they weren't overly influential players in that Dublin team. They're much more important now. Is that a sign that
they've stepped up? With the other guys dropping away, they've stepped up and embraced that, which is a great sign of them.
Colin Baskell is a very dangerous footballer. Obviously, Con is a dangerous footballer. Con is the biggest threat of all. Cormac Costello is a very flaky player, but on his day he could kick 7 or 8 points. Or else he'll have a very quiet game and he won't be involved at all.
How will the Dublin defence, some of them who are very new to us, how will they cope with the Kerry 6 attackers? And as an add-on question for you, and then you have the same question, so put your thoughts on it. What 6 Kerry forwards do you think Jack will start?
Well, I think certainly Sean McMahon, and I think Damien probably agrees with me, Sean McMahon will pick up David Clifford. He seems to have done that in recent league matches as well. And
Owen Merchant might, although there's a doubt that whether he will. If he's there, if he's in any way, he could do a job on somebody.
He went off injured, in the last game, Sean McMahon.
I think McMahon, if he's fit, he will relish a clash with David because he seems to have enjoyed the league meetings, whether he's come on as a sub to Mark David or started to Mark David. He's going to get rough. He's going to get in David's face. He's going to get in his ear. He's going to be saying things. He's going to be trying to do everything possible to disrupt David's focus on the game. Dylan Gainey is interesting. They might decide one of the younger players. They might decide potentially a Theo Clancy or someone could end up on a Dylan Gainey or an Owen Kennedy or Davy Byrne. Davy Byrne is experienced. Maybe Davy Byrne will go to Paul Gainey. Maybe it's hard to know.
Would Damien, McMorrow go on Paddy?
McMorrow could indeed.
No, he's not. Lee Gannon is.
Lee Gannon?
Lee
Potentially.
Gannon. He's more experienced. Tell me this. Do Dublin really do man-to-man marking? Or do they mark the man that's closest to them? Do they not do it on a kind of a zonal system? So there's no such thing as man-to-man marking when you're playing Dublin, because they will. Now,
apart from your three up.
Apart from your three up.
But that's the same for
every team now, really, isn't it?
So like we do matchups. But is crazy.
But that's true in a sense, because we be doing like player ratings, so you want to see who's marking who.
Yeah.
And you spend about the first 10 minutes going, all right,
okay. Say your player ratings are very.
Oh, thanks, Mort. Good. I'm assuming you're going to praise me, so I'm just going to.
Yeah.
But when you're doing that, you're looking out. You're saying who's marking who and what's going on here. And other than the full back line, forget about it. You know, it is so fluid. And even at that, the full back, it all depends. It's all situated. I don't think any team.
And Paddy Clifford now is always man marked.
That is fair, but. But other than that, generally
speaking...
Other than
that in general, it's very flexible.
It's very flexible, And like even like Shane Enright, going back to him again, he's saying that Kerry are the zonal team in the championship, you know, as regards defending. So
they probably are. So like there's ones. Do you think though, because I'm going to go on to the Kerry defence against the Dublin attack, and Dublin have some very good attackers, as we know. Con, you mentioned already, Scully, etc. Which you had out around midfield, by the way, but you're going to have them up in attack as well, obviously, when they gain possession. Defensively, do Kerry need to close it a bit to be tighter? And do they need to move out? They didn't, and your man went to town.
McCurry with 2 pointers.
2 pointers. And they have 2-point shooters as well. I think they had 4 against Galway, was it?
100% Kerry need to tighten up. We spoke to Dylan Casey about this on Monday, and he was very in agreement. And they've spoken about this as a unit. They weren't happy to concede 27 points to Tyrone.
If they concede 27 points to Dublin, we'll lose.
You probably lose, potentially.
I'd give us a chance of outscoring that when you've got David Clifford in the form he's in, when you've got Dylan Ganey in the form he's in.
But Tyrone had 10 wides as well, and Shane Murphy had to make a wonder save to deny Ronan Cassidy at one stage as well. They also had their own McElhone point that could easily have been a goal, and also off the top of the crossbar.
And also Keith Evans' block on McKernan for the 2-pointer.
So you're talking basically Tyrone had 40 scoring opportunities in that match. That's too many. Yeah. If Dublin get 40 scoring opportunities the next day over the course of the 70 minutes,
you'd be in trouble.
Yeah, you would be in trouble.
You're talking very cautious.
So it's Dublin. You're always going to be cautious against Dublin. Yeah. For a team that we've beaten once in the last 2 decades, you know, in the 2010s and the 2020s, we've only beaten them once. Yeah. So in championships, so we've
Yerism.
No, they're facts. They're facts. But they're nothing to do with Yerism.
Do Dublin trust their zonal system? Will they trust their zonal system when they're playing Kerry at the back?
They will go man to man on David Clifford, Paddy Clifford and Dylan Ganey for certain.
That's 3.
For certain.
And they're going to have a man in there. So where do they get the players to mark? Diarmuid O'Connor to mark the other players? Joe O'Connor on the charge, Gavin White coming from behind.
Well, they will look at Diarmuid and Joe at this moment in time, and they will say that they're not really scoring threats. Right now, Dublin will say that they're going to be more helping out in the midfield battle for Kerry. Look,
and Kerry will look at, and Kerry management look and say, Cormac Costello is not exactly catching seagulls out. It's just there's a couple of players there. Now Scully is Paddy Small is a good player, but he's not exactly firing in all cylinders.
He's having a really good season, Mort, to be fair now. Paddy Small is kicking 3-4 points a game.
If you're looking at Charlie McMorrow, Owen Kennedy at the back, Lee Gannon we know of, Theo Clancy, they weren't there. None of those were there in 2020. What was it? 20 when they beat us?
2023.
2023.
Sure, Dylan Ganey's only there for the last 2 years.
Yeah, but
players emerge and they play. You know what I mean? I wouldn't just because they're only after emerging doesn't mean they're not any good.
Ganey has won an All Ireland club.
He did that after he emerged as a Kerry footballer and won All Ireland.
And he did, and he's the 3rd year in, and he is really blossoming into player. Are you saying a man who got 17 out of 17 is not a good player?
I said
no, but you're underestimating some of the Dublin players. You're pretty much saying you're pretty much saying that just because they're new that they're not good.
We don't know. You can't say that. Yeah, you can't say that.
When you're in front of, I know you never played with because you played junior in Kerry and he'd never more than 80. When you play before 80,000 people, it's a horse of a different colour. And even established players will tell you that. Dublin players are saying that. We're saying that to fans. It is a huge culture shock. It'll be okay for the likes of Gannon and Howard and Kilkenny. They'll thrive on it. They'll thrive on it, just like David Clifford, etc. will thrive on it.
But you don't know that these boys won't.
So you reckon that...
Well, I don't know if they will or they won't.
You reckon the Dublin defence are going to actually annihilate the Kerry attack?
We never said that.
You said that, does it?
You are suggesting that.
No, we're not.
You're talking with pure caution and
Well, of course we're talking
negativity
with caution.
about the Kerry forward line, that they will be held and man-marked by a Dublin back line who, if anybody out in the street there was asked to name one of the Dublin defence right now, he wouldn't name them. He'd mention John McCarthy, McCaffrey, these guys, O'Sullivan. He'd mention all these.
John McCarthy,
Fitzsimons.
about 40 years out of date.
But that would be only people who don't watch football.
Pardon?
That would be only people who
Well,
don't
we
watch
are in
football.
hurling
We are in
territory.
hurling No. If you're to ask me, do I think the Kerry forwards have what it takes to take apart this Dublin defence?
Yeah, you'd
they
say
do.
yes.
They do, but we're just
That's the
giving...
question I asked.
No, it wasn't the question you asked.
You were asking
I
about
asked with the
screenings and
Dublin-
zonals and...
Yeah.
I asked, was the Dublin defence, do you think they're capable of curbing the Kerry attack?
No, that
that's
wasn't
what
your
you asked,
question
Pablo.
at all.
No. You
Okay,
asked...
I'll rephrase it. So,
Yeah.
are the Dublin defence capable of restraining or containing
More
the
than
Kerry
likely not.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's impossible.
Yeah. So
Although
you
it is pretty impossible in this game
Yeah.
to really close down
Yeah.
a forward unit. Like.
It's a forwards game.
It is
now,
a forwards game,
rather
though, yeah,
than a backs
yeah,
game.
yeah,
So while you're right in saying that they're unlikely to be able to curb the Kerry forward line,
It's all a matter of margins
Are
and degrees.
Are you 100% sure that Kerry defence will be able to curb the Dublin forward line when we weren't able to curb a Tyrone forward
absolutely
line?
not.
So it could be.
But that's not the question I asked.
The question could be
You
who
bounced
scores
it
more.
around.
The question could be who scores
You
more.
evaded the question as usual.
Damien says that he believes that even if Dublin get 27 points like Tyrone did, that we can get more.
We can get more.
Yeah.
So he's saying that it could be like just a straight.
It could be an
shootout.
absolute shootout.
Yeah.
It could
So
be.
do you think it's going to be a shootout?
No.
No. So tell me what you think is going to be, because what's going to happen? Are Kerry going to win midfield? The key areas are the kick out, who's going to win the breaking ball or the direct ball at midfield, which set of forwards will get the most ball, and I reckon the Dublin forwards will give the Kerry backs, unless they really improve, enough of it, and I certainly think that the Kerry forwards on their day, if they get ball, that they will absolutely, I won't say annihilate, that's too strong a word, but they will really give the run around to the Dublin defence, because that Dublin defence hasn't really been tested by any decent forward set of forwards yet.
You have to go back.
Sorry, are you saying that the last two matches that Dublin have played against the forwards that Donegal have and the forwards that Galway have, that Dublin aren't properly tested?
What was the score in the Galway game? I don't need to tell the score, but the
125
margin,
to 121.
No, tell me the margin with about 58 minutes gone. Who was ahead?
Sure, Galway were well ahead.
Yes. And David Goff gave a good hand. There was a penalty not given on one side. There was a 2-pointer. Con scored from the penalty, and they got back in it and they fell over.
But you're saying that you don't think Shane Walsh, Matthew Tierney, Damien Comer, Robert Finnerty, or Conor O'Donnell,
DC,
Michael Murphy, etc., Michael Lang, and all these guys. You're saying they're no tests of Dublin defence?
I wouldn't say they're no test, but I would say that they gave them enough trouble. It was on the other side, it was on the defensive side that those teams, plus Donegal, were a beaten docket. They were shot. They were gone. They were in the contest. Galway were a good team, and if they hadn't got the help they had got from the match official, I reckon Galway would be in the All-Ireland semi-final.
Allegedly. My biggest fear for this game, and it goes back to the game against Tyrone, and you can read it one of two ways, and I don't think anyone can fully say the answer to this right now. Were the signs that we saw from Kerry against Tyrone, were they specifically because Kerry were playing for 3 weeks in a row, or were they because we found ourselves in Croke Park with a team that has maybe half of the players on that team who are undercooked? Because they have been injured for many, many months and weeks.
Since they were playing with their clubs all year.
No, I'm not talking about that now. Of the season. That we are playing players over the last 3 games who we are trying to get back to the form and fitness of last year.
Keep talking.
And it's really difficult for those players to get up to their
You're
optimum
digging a hole
levels.
for yourself.
I'm
Keep
asking
going.
you a question here.
Yeah.
Was the performance against Tyrone because we were tired from 3 weeks in a row, or was it because we are carrying players at the moment who are undercooked and not at their optimal levels that they were this time last year?
It was a mixture of three things. One, Tyrone were very good. Two, we subconsciously, whatever the word is, took them for granted.
I don't think so.
I
disagree with you totally there.
I think so, of course you will.
If we disagreed with them, if we took them for granted, I think we'd lost.
And I think the third thing is, I think Tony Brosnan should have been brought on. And as I said to you 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, yourself and John Kennedy, who vehemently disagreed, and purely because of a back spasm, we get Gavin White. What I will tell you is, if we didn't have Gavin White on that team against Tyrone, we would have lost it, despite the ramblings
No,
you
I
were
think
going
you're
on there
probably-
about undercooked
I think
players.
you're probably right there. He was
We've got
exceptional.
Gavin, we
Yeah.
only got him on by mistake. And I made the point here, Frank Dick, the great coach.
But the
American
thing is,
coach, he
Mort,
says,
but the thing is,
you
Mort, with
pick
Gavin White, did we know for sure that Gavin White had that in him?
No,
until
we
he
didn't.
did it. So that's what Jack is
Yeah.
dealing with.
Yeah, but Jack didn't say, I didn't know whether he had it or not, but the fact that he lasted 70 minutes is some credit to him.
Yeah, Jack
So
was
you
shocked
must
by that.
think-
So they weren't expecting him to be able to last
I was.
that amount.
I was. Now, tell me this, right? But no, you're not making sense. Right, I tried to explain to this.
You haven't
last
answered the
guy.
question yet. I'm putting the question to you now.
What?
Have we too many players at the moment who are undercooked?
No.
And we don't have the time to get them fully fit up to their levels
I
of
think
last year?
I think Dowdy, we're getting closer to where
No,
we need. I think if you look at no, Joe wasn't brilliant the last day, but if you compare Joe against Donegal to Joe against Armagh, it's night and day.
Well, Joe
if you compared Graham Sullivan when he came back into the team to the Graham Sullivan we saw the last day,
and
night and
Diarmuid
day.
O'Connor
Diarmuid
is not 100%
no,
yet.
he's not, but he's a hell of a lot better than he was when he came back into
Yeah.
the team. We're getting there. We're absolutely getting there.
But we would be more getting there if we had more weeks, which we obviously don't.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's
Would
why
you-
it's a banana skin
well,
game
well,
this
well,
weekend.
Well, would you prefer...
But we're going to be all these
Would you
boys that we
prefer
mentioned
to
are
have
going to be
Brian
better.
O'Bugley as your right half back or Owen Kennedy? Would you prefer to have Mike Breen at centre back instead of Charlie McMorrow? Would you prefer to have Gavin White instead of Lee Gannon? Davy Byrne, would you prefer to have Dylan Casey? Would you have Theo Clancy if he plays full back? He may not, but if he does. Would you prefer Jason Foley? Of course you prefer Jason
But
Foley.
I do think, if you're looking at every sector of the field, I think Kerry are a bit ahead. But that doesn't. But I would have said the
but
same
that's
about.
what I'm trying to sink into your
no,
heads.
but Mort, we would have said the same about Tyrone, and we nearly bloody lost to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're frightened.
And you would have
You're
said,
like-
you would have said that Donegal and Galway had a better team than Dublin, wouldn't you? Let's be fair here. You would have said it
I would,
before the
oh,
game
yeah,
that Donegal and Galway should be beating Dublin.
yeah.
They didn't.
No.
And there has to be a reason for that.
And Mort, Jack has warned us. He's warned us against foolish loose talk.
Yeah.
So we have to be
there's so much
careful.
foolish loose talk from yourself. It's unbelievable right now.
No, but listen, I have told you what the great coach Frank Dick said about winning a game, right? Winning a game well with a good side, an elite side, right? Winning a game like we did, showing character against Tyrone, but we made the change that we had to make, and that brought us over the line, as opposed to the game because we'd beaten an Armagh team 6 days on who weren't the Armagh team of old down in Killarney, and we all said, great Kerry team, let's pick the same 15 again. I queried it, he fought with me.
But you were wrong.
I was wrong, and now we're talking
But you were wrong.
I
And
wasn't
only
wrong.
for an injury, you were going to be wrong.
No, and we would have lost the game. And we
That's
wouldn't
not
be here
it.
tonight.
We don't know what
You
Breen
don't know
might have
that.
done. We don't know what Breen might have done.
Are you saying?
Are you saying Breen would assist 1-5 the same as Gavin White? His pace,
Do you not remember the
etc.
performance he gave? I know it's a different
He
level. Do you
did.
not remember the
He
performance he
gave
gave in the
us-
intermediate final last year?
I know,
Look,
that's club.
no, but look, right.
He's an
If you're
all-star
not-
as well, Mort, at this moment in
He
time.
is an all-star, exactly.
Yeah.
You've got to remember, look, Dublin are they're dangerous. They're dangerous because they've been written off.
Yeah.
A month ago, who would have given them a bloody prayer of being where they are now?
Or Mayo or Loud.
You would have given them more.
And
you would have given them more of a chance than you would have given Dublin.
And they're us against the world now with the Ger Brennan suspension.
Exactly. They are men on a mission.
Yeah.
They were written off to quote Jack O'Connor from last
Yeah.
year. and they had the Ger Brennan cause to rally around. They are dangerous.
Yeah.
If you don't
100%.
think they are dangerous. Do I think we're better than them? Yes.
Yes.
Do I think we'll beat them? Yes. Do I think it's an absolute slam dunk? Absolutely not.
Exactly.
Right. So here we go again. You still won't listen to me. You still interrupt me when I'm telling you, right, you pick a team and then you might say, oh, you were lucky because Gavin White, pure fluke that you were right, or half right.
But no one is denying that Gavin White was absolutely brilliant, and he will be certainly
Are you going
on
to pick
the
same team?
He will be, not necessarily. No, I think there could be changes this week.
Oh, could you?
Yeah, because we didn't play as well. Because we didn't play as well against Tyrone as we did against Armagh.
So we were converted from the road from Tarbert?
No.
Or Damascus?
I suspect it won't be that dissimilar.
So is it going to be the same team? Give me
No,
what team are Kerry going to? What are our 6 forwards?
Our 6 forwards are the 6 forwards who started the last day. Or two
What are six
midfielders, the 2 midfielders who started the last day.
Probably be the same 6, yeah.
And I think at the back, Gavin, he started, so that's not a change
So
necessarily.
where did we put Breen then? He's an all-star, remember? And he played very well in the club final.
Yeah, I think, like as we talked about, I think he'll leave Graham on the team at the back. And I think he'll keep...
You think he'll hold Breen?
I think he'll hold Breen. I think
And
he'll hold
Tom
Tom.
Sullivan.
And I think he'll hold Shawnee for the impact off the bench.
He'd hold how many off the bench?
Those three all-star footballers, I think, will be held on the bench for Kerry.
But he'll be held as well.
Breen,
So
Tom.
no change to our back line,
I don't think so.
which leaked 27
No,
points.
look, who knows? I'm not Jack O'Connor. He's got a mind of his own and
Well,
a much
he's
better
seen
football
them in
mind.
training,
Exactly. But I suspect they'll go at the same
I think it's
team.
our bench will win the game for us.
Yeah.
That's where Damien could be very right in saying to stack it as much as we possibly
Pardon
need
the
to.
pun.
Because you made a point, I don't know, was it off air, Mort, beforehand, of going through the Dublin subs that came
well, the
on in
Dublin subs, I
their...
don't know anyone of them.
in their last
Ross
match.
McGarry.
Ross McGarry's not a bad
McGarry's a good
football
experience.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
good. Joss Bannon, Tim Deering. The last Deering I heard was an Irish rugby player. We have Sean Guyton.
Sean Guyton has been
Guyton
playing quite
very well,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they might have...
Liam Smith.
They might
I
have,
don't know much
they
about
might
him.
have, they
Did
might
they
have,
steal him from us?
no, they might have, they might have Sean Bugler back this week.
They might have
as
Sean
well.
Bugler
He'd
back.
be a
I know
very-
Merchant is...
Yeah. So they
So
could be
those
stronger.
5 are going to frighten the living daylights out of me.
No,
They
we're
could
not
be
saying that.
stronger.
Look
like.
who we have. And look at the players.
But Mort, you're making my point for me. This
Yeah,
is what I've been
we're
saying.
saying that Kerry will have the edge on the bench.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
And that might turn out to be a difference,
Should Tony Brosnan
especially
be
on a hot
brought in?
day. Tony Brosnan should have got minutes the last
Absolutely,
day.
yeah.
And you would expect that he
But
will
again,
get minutes on
but
this
again,
occasion.
it was the what you call the calculated gamble rather of giving Shawnee time, even though
Yeah.
Wright was right. You kind of say Tony Brosnan was the
Yeah.
smarter bet in that situation, but it was worth the gamble.
I'm going to ask you a question which none of you will answer with a straight face because you're incapable of answering a straight question because you're tied to Jack O'Connor and you're tied because of the job you have. You're tied to supporting the Kerry team. You're fans rather than journalists. And I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think Keith Evans, youth, he's got pace, he's got a bit of sprint and conditioning has been brilliant. He's blossomed into a fine player. He's clever. Got a great goal in the second last game. His block the last game is iconic. Would you have him in the 6 instead of maybe Paul Ganey? And use Paul Ganey off the bench and have 4 all-stars coming off?
I do think Paul Ganey, Christ, he could make an awful Egypt of me now. And he's done it before, or I think I wrote around February last year, I thought that Paul Ganey, he's a super sub now, and that's given his age profile, but that this is a year on again. Maybe that is the role for him. And Keith Evans is, Jesus, he's we all think he meant that goal, the chip goal.
Oh yeah, against Armagh.
Against Armagh,
Yeah.
and that block the last day. That could be the one change that could be made. But
The probability is that they will see Keith as an impact sub
Yeah.
because of the pace that
Yeah.
he has and because that he is very dangerous coming on against tiring defenders rather than starting against defenders who are very fresh in the opening half of a match. I think
What
that's
about-
the way Kerry will look at it.
But
you
Dublin got
would
a
have
good
to.
start and after 25 minutes they're 6-7 points clear. What do we start doing then?
We don't panic.
Right.
If we start rearranging chairs and the
Don't throw out the baby with the
yeah,
bathwater.
yeah. I mean,
Rearranging the deck chairs and the
Titanic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think we discussed it earlier. But like 5 points is nothing in a game of football anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
But
if
you know,
if you're 6 points down in an All-Ireland semi-final,
but there's one
don't-
man-
it ain't what it used to be. So
There's
don't.
one man
you know.
who can clear away
Absolutely.
in 3 kicks.
David Clifford. Yeah.
No, we forget David Clifford. He's our main man. Tony Brosnan, who was news the last day, with his left peg, etc. And the pass, he can put 2s over in Croke Park, you know, like he's down in Lewis Road.
He can.
So why isn't he on? Why isn't he going to be
He's
brought
not
on?
on because we essentially have gone with 4 midfielders, so we only have 4 forwards. That's essentially it.
Yeah.
If this was if this was the old rules, he'd probably be on.
Plus, I think Kerry look at him at times as not an inside forward. They
As
look
kind
at
of
him at times
creator.
as an alternate to Paddy Clifford.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
he can go in and play that centre forward role because Tony's very good on the ball. He's not just a finisher.
yeah.
I think Kerry look at it and see, like, if Paddy's either injured again or if he doesn't last the full game, that they're looking at, we can spring Tony there and nothing really changes. He can just go in and make left-footed, do the same type of role. So sometimes it's maybe the versatility goes against Tony, the fact that he's a finisher and he's an outside man. And as Damien said, like, we are sticking with the tried and tested of the 4 big men around the middle. Like last year, remember as well, it was different, but we stuck with the 3 big men and Graham O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
Like Graham was a number 12 for the whole championship last year,
Yeah.
and Joe was 10, and we had our 2 lads midfield. So we were going again with 4 forwards in general. That seems to be what management have chosen as the best path. Obviously, if you find yourself 6 or 7 points down at half time, you might decide we need to change here, and we take off one of the 4 midfielders and we bring on another orthodox forward, and then eventually you go down and we're still losing with 10 or 15 minutes to go, and you say, right, we need to go 6 forwards, and we take off a second one of the 3 midfielders and leave just the 2. So all that is possible, but the way Kerry have looked at it this year, they feel that the platform of the 4 big men around the middle gives them their best chance of gaining a foothold, that they don't find themselves 6 or 7 points down in a big game.
Do you know what? I just from the National League, you know, it was in early January and February, so maybe it's not that relevant. But kind of the dog that hasn't barked for Kerry this year was it seems to be the offensive mark. If you remember those first couple of rounds of the league, we laid in some serious offensive marks, and Tomas Kennedy was playing that time, and David and Paul Gaines were able to do it as well.
Yeah.
Is there a chance we could pull that rabbit out of the hat in the big game in Croke
My
Park?
next question was going to be, Dublin are going to have some surprise for us. Every management team would plan. They're not going to play the same way as Tyrone. They saw what happened to Tyrone. We beat them. Maybe they think they're better than Tyrone or whatever. What can Brennan do with Dublin that would surprise Kerry? And can Jack pull a rabbit out the hat? And I'll tell you after who I think Jack might pull out of the hat. I might as well tell you in advance because you're both looking at me.
And it's not Keith Evans. You're thinking of someone else?
No, someone else. I think the fact that he was on the 26th the last day, and I think he told you the last day that he was in pretty good shape, Tom. I think he could start Tom. He's the best defender in Ireland.
I don't think he's enough done to start him in an All-Ireland semi-final.
But sure, look, we mightn't go any further, so would you start him? Wait till next year? You could have strike what down his heart. If he's fit, play him. This is what I'm saying.
That's fit and that's match fit.
Yeah, but do my match
or
fit.
match sharp.
If you're talking about picking a team, do you pick a team based on the game before because everybody played well, which most of them did. Maybe there was 1 or 2 in defence. They weren't all that great, as he mentioned earlier, who could improve. Or do you pick a team, the best team that you can put on the pitch with the best players to beat, as he say, a Dublin team who are very dangerous?
But do you want to finish with your best team or start with your best team?
I want to start with my best team. That's like playing with the wind in the first half and the second wind. That's like saying, I'll marry that woman, but no, I won't.
But
and
so
then
you're not really taking
40 years later, she's divorced 4 times.
You're not taking account of what the weather conditions could be like so this weekend. You're just saying go hell for leather from the first minute.
Sullivan
and then
is back on Ventry Beach, taking in the sun this week, and he's enjoying the degrees. right, the 30 degrees. And the other thing is,
Isn't the thing
Tom
about
Sullivan has the least amount of football played this year.
They can't go out in the sun, any of those boys this
No,
week.
they can't, no.
Because they need to,
It's right too, they should be all kept indoors.
the hydration and all the rest of it.
But the thing is, lads, do we not think that he's one of the freshest players? He's
definitely fresh.
Yeah.
And what about a fresh player in Croke Park, Zip? And look at the left peg he has. 2 or 3 points early on, a 2-pointer or something. It would kill Dublin.
He's
Dublin are
definitely
probably
capable
not
of doing
planning
it.
for him.
I look, again, we're not in Jack O'Connor's head.
Yeah.
But if I was Jack O'Connor, and heaven forbid Kerry football, if I ever was,
Jack,
I would just love to have that impact off the bench. And I do think that if you've got a guy who's not 100% match sharp,
Have you benched at home?
a bench.
Will you sit on a pile and realise that coming off the bench is not that easy
No,
at times?
no, but I would.
Especially
I
when
would
you're
put-
moving on.
But I prefer a guy who's coming onto a game that's opening up.
Do you think Darren McCurry would have made as big an impact if he started against Kerry the last day than coming off the bench? I would say not a hope in the world.
Yeah.
That Tyrone did absolutely the right thing with Darren McCurry because they had proof of it in the previous game when he scored 6 points
but
off
Darren
the bench.
McCurry's
No. Answer the question now.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you do have to have impact subs. You're saying throw all our eggs in the basket of first 15 players and go from the very start.
You don't even listen to me.
McCurry,
I have not mentioned the fact that I believe that Johnny Shea should start on the bench. I believe Tony Brosnan should start on the bench. He's an impact sub. I believe that Brian O'Bugley, if he has been injured, etc., we can't risk him at the start and he's going off after 20
But you want to risk Tom?
But Tom, who's the freshest man,
But Tom, who's
who's
not the most injured, but he's the one guy who was injured most recently. I mean, why do you want to risk him?
He hasn't played for 2 months, 3 months.
Exactly.
And he's been training. And he says he's put him at number 26. Why are you putting a player...
I'm Jody, you might have better memories than me. When did he last play a game for Kerry?
I saw it somewhere.
Did he play in
It was
Munster?
April.
Did he play Munster Championship?
Semi-final, Munster final.
he played a bit in Munster, I think. Did he go off injured over in Clare? I think in the first game over in Ennis. I think he might have started but had to go off in that
And
game.
he didn't play the Munster final.
Yeah. But John,
I don't think he played Munster
You answer
final
my
then.
question now, since you were telling me a question. Do you think that the 26, that they put the 26 on there for just because they have to and for a bit of colour and things in the programme and that none of these guys are real, Killian Trent, etc., they're not able to play unless they come on as impact subs? Do you not believe that they need those? Do you not believe that every one of them are fit? And for example, I suppose the goalkeeper is an exception. A player could get injured after 5 minutes.
yeah, of course.
And a defender or an attacker may have to come on.
Yeah.
Paddy Clifford, we hope he doesn't, could get injured after 5 minutes, pull a hamstring or something, touch wood, and we may have to bring on somebody instead of him.
Of course, yeah.
So that happens.
They have to be all ready.
So what's the difference of that and starting?
I think there still is a difference. Because it's what you're...
So how many All-Stars do we need to have in the bench to have a good bench?
3 isn't bad now, in fairness. 3 isn't bad.
I think the bench, because of the weather especially, that's going to be the conditions
They're
on
going to be
Sunday,
sitting on the stand. There'll be no bench.
It could decide the match. We have a stronger bench than Dublin. That's 100% the case. I think we should make the most of that and have that in our locker as ammunition, and when needed, we release that ammunition and we kill them when we have to kill them. I don't think the game is going to be decided in the first half, Mort. I think if you're saying that we get Tom, that we get everybody in from the first whistle and go hell for leather, I don't think, no matter what team we have out on the pitch, that the game will be over one way or the other at half time.
But again, we were talking about 6 or 7 points. Come back to that again. 6 or 7 points ain't what it used to be, you know?
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying that there'll be probably, and our defence was a bit porous the last day. I would be thinking, this is my suggestion, it's my opinion, right? My opinion is I would start Tom Sullivan, and obviously I'm going to start Gavin White, which means there's no place for Breen, and Breen would be an impact sub to come on for a defender if Tom broke down after 10 or 15 minutes. Breen is a great man to be able to bring in at cornerback or wing back or whatever. Don't ask me now like you did last week who I'm going to drop. I have no idea.
I get your point, because on full form and full 100% fitness, Brian and Tom are both 100% starters. Like you did say about Gavin White, the previous match is 100% starter.
Yeah, and I did say about Shawnee, but I was wrong about Shawnee
when
because
fully fit.
He hasn't...
but Shawnee is 100% a starter as well, when fully fit.
Yes, I agree.
But
Tom is much fitter than Shawnee, I'd say, right now.
How do you know that?
Because he wasn't going around with the boot on. Next.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's hard to know.
It's hard to know.
But Shawnee has 40 minutes under his belt in the last two or 3 weeks, whereas Tom has nothing played. So.
But do we agree, say on this, because we agree on very little, do we agree on this?
Which makes a good podcast.
It does. But do we agree that more than likely there'll be at least maybe one change? He's not going to go with the same team.
I think there could be a change, yeah. I'm not saying that there 100% definitely will be, because I get Damien's point that Gavin came in, he's one of the changes. He'll definitely start, right?
Yeah.
Again.
So that's not actually a change.
That's not actually a change.
Yeah.
So it's basically whether...
If anyone's under pressure, it's the two Pauls.
You think?
Yeah. But who are you gonna?
Supposing, I don't know. I think he's been in warm weather training, Paul Murphy, in Rathmore, but in Gleamagilla.
Because when you think about it, like if Brian comes back in, would
or Tom?
Well, if Tom comes back in,
Graham O'Sullivan has played cornerback, hasn't he?
And Graham has played cornerback, so Paul could be under a smidge of pressure there.
Listen,
but I don't. If I was a betting man, I'd say
man marking and cornerbacks and halfbacks, etc. is not like it used to be in the
It's not like it used to be. No.
They collectively defend together, they attack, and I still maintain that our forwards are better, that their forwards are very good, and we've got to improve our defence. And the next question I'm going to, before we get a verdict, I'm going to ask you about how important a game is it for Shane Murphy, and can he maintain the level of form that he has been showing over the past number? I think he's 33 now, or not.
Yeah,
if I have it wrong,
yeah.
he'll add at least 300 onto my car insurance, but I probably have it right. He's around 33, so...
How important is it? In terms of
the quickness of getting the kick out away,
in that sense, obviously it's huge. But in terms of importance of
if
he doesn't have a brilliant game, is he going to get dropped for the All-Ireland final? No, he's in there for the year. If Kerry make the final, he's going to be starting. Yeah. But it's huge. It's huge.
I'm talking about winning this game.
Yeah.
Despite your optimism, we haven't this game won yet.
I don't have a fear of Shane Murphy's performance at the weekend. I think he's going to do what he's been doing over the last couple of games. I think he will find his men the majority of the time.
I was talking to Brendan Keeley this week for a piece in the paper, and Brendan was saying
what it was.
Sorry?
Is the paper published yet?
It is published, yeah.
Okay.
And Brendan was saying
Remind
to me
not to buy it.
that you're subscribed online.
I am.
That's the main thing. That's the most important thing. But Brendan was saying, like, you know, the most important thing for a goalkeeper is that to get a run, and to get, and the one thing he said to me that really struck in my mind was like, getting the odd game here and there is no good to a goalkeeper.
No.
Because you're thinking, oh God, I need to really improve. I mean, really need to impress here. I can't make a mistake. I can't have one
bad kick out.
And it just frazzles them. Whereas when he's getting the run of games, the longer it goes on, the stronger he's getting. That's not a coincidence. It doesn't mean he's going to be as good as he was the last 2 days. Maybe not. I mean, 84% retention under these rules is crazy. Even if it's about 75.
Oh, you take it now.
You take it now. But I don't think he's going to regress.
Are you happy with the referee?
Yes, Brendan Cawley.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, he's a fair ref. He's well experienced at this level. He knows how to handle big matches. I don't think he'll.
But we've gotten our quota of luck from referees this year. So
do we need black cards, red cards, yellow cards? Because Dublin, I think, will have an edge to them, and we know what edge means, right? And they're going to try and disrupt us. Oh, Kerry.
Are you headed no, it wasn't you. It was somebody from another media organisation had an exchange with Jimmy McGuinness about edge. Every team has edge. If you don't have edge, forget about it.
Yeah. My point is, though, controlled edge in terms of you don't step over the line. Yeah. We can't afford to lose anyone.
Well, we
lose a man for 10 minutes. It could be fatal.
We lost a man at half time over a brush of blood to the head, and it cost us winning. But I think we've learned our lesson there. Yeah. I think Kerry got two going back. But I think we got two hit up that day.
Talking about uppercuts. Micheál Burns is a man we shouldn't be forgetting.
No.
I mean, he could be in at 10 if Joe wasn't playing well or Diarmuid wasn't playing well.
He's definitely capable of coming off the bench. 100%.
He's another impact.
100%.
But that's what we're saying. We do have the...
But we have 3 All-Stars. Now with Micheál Burns, we have Tony Brosnan, that's 5. So I don't know
that's why we're
lads. Where are we going to?
That's why we're going to win the game.
Are they only going to put the drive?
That's why we're going to win the game.
We're going to win the
because
game.
of the bench.
Okay, so I'm not going to ask you because you tend to be as for a measured response. Who do you think win the game, and roughly by how much? In other words, tight, 3 or 4 points is tight. A bit more, or
I would say. I think in every department, I think Shane is ahead of Evan Comerford. I think our defence is better than their defence. I think our midfield quartet is better than what they have. I think our inside forward is better than what they have. Which is not to say that they don't have very good players in all those positions. But I do think we're a smidge ahead in all of them. And our bench is, I would say, considerably better.
yeah.
I would put it in the 5 to 6 to 7 point range.
And you would say,
But would you be shocked if we're sitting here next week talking about a Dublin win? No.
No, I agree with you.
Wouldn't.
And you would say the bench is absolutely where we have an advantage.
I think,
There may be
I
other areas
think it's where we have the clearest advantage.
Cheers, Ted. Well said. You're very clear and precise. I'll hire you again. John.
I'm just going to raise a point that I don't think we've factored in yet.
Right,
and
go on.
It's strange that we've gone through a podcast really for an hour or whatever it is without really mentioning him too much. But in general, as we all know, David Clifford doesn't have much more to prove.
Who does he play for?
Prove to anybody.
Yeah.
But I think from David Clifford's own personal point of view, and I don't know how the man thinks, but I know that he's a winner, and he will look back on the 2023 final against Dublin as
That free.
potentially a game where he didn't perform at his very best. He got a lot of treatment from Michael Fitzsimons that day. He was involved in a lot of good stuff, but his shooting wasn't of David Clifford standards that particular afternoon.
I can't remember exactly, but I do have a vague notion that he wasn't as
He's
bad.
not- no,
I don't. A vague notion he wasn't nearly as bad as people were making out.
No,
And he was the assist for the goal as well.
And Michael Fitzsimons wasn't as good as people were making out afterwards.
Yeah.
It was
smoked. Remember that?
It was
yeah.
it was mostly that David's shooting wasn't on the supersonic levels that it normally is.
Will he smoke Dublin on Sunday?
I think he's going to be even better than recently against.
He's a driven man.
Yes, I think so. I think he will play absolutely out of his skin because I think Dublin are going to put an awful lot of emphasis on Corbin Dillinganey as well the next day. We can't expect Dylan to keep producing 8-9 point performances.
He's going to miss a kick once.
He'll surely miss a kick,
Yeah,
hopefully
exactly.
not. But I think David is ready to he's been playing brilliantly. Look, he still scored 1-8 the last day, but I think there's even more in him. I think McMahon will get him going in the right way.
But the
because
thing
McMahon will try and annoy him and irritate him, and it'll only. You've seen what that happens before with players like Padraig O'Hora or these different players who try to do that to David Clifford. It doesn't work. I think
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Yeah, I think McMahon will definitely poke the bear because that's the only way he defends.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to do, and I think David will produce. But I think it all comes down to the bench as well.
You will be amazed. You will be shocked to your very core. But you must be reading my notes. I couldn't have said it better myself. I thoroughly
We agreed on something.
Yes, unbelievable.
What a moment.
We should end
What
the
a moment,
podcast. This is
JC.
a historic moment. This is like the summit in wherever it was
Reykjavik.
recently. Yes, and you were there to witness it. We can sign
was
the
about 2
document
at the
now.
time, but
No,
so-
I think that David Clifford is driven. I think he's a man on a mission. I think he showed it with that last kick out that he claimed against Tyrone. He just didn't want to hear of defeat or extra time or anything.
Yeah.
He's been in enough of those in his short career. You know, the day he was injured when he went and they beat just an extra time or whatever.
And Mort, this is their time.
Yeah.
They are. Okay,
At peak, their age, yeah.
This is there's a few older and there's a few younger, but basically this Kerry team is in its
27,
peak.
28.
It's
This is
time
it, yeah.
to win what they can win, fill their boots
Back to back.
when they
treble.
can.
Yeah.
You
Are
know.
you suggesting a 6 or 7 in a row?
I think we should do 2 anyway.
We should do 2.
Yeah,
You're very cautious.
yeah. I wouldn't, and completely side by point. I don't think it's impossible. Jack O'Connor gets very close to matching Mick O'Dwyer's All Ireland tally with this team in the next 3 or 4 years.
Absolutely, yeah.
Depending on how much he wants to stay around, but I think he's
Yeah.
I know. Winning is fun. Why would you leave when
Do
you're
you
having
think we
fun?
might have too many Dr. Crokes players on the panel? No?
No, I think we're doing all right.
Yeah, they're good players, aren't they?
They are not
Yeah.
too bad at all.
No, they're not too bad at all. There's a couple of more should be on.
Charlie Keating was on standby the last day.
What that's right, Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie's
That's
great.
another player making his way through the system.
Exactly. Great golfer.
Is he?
He's good. Yeah. His father's a pro, sure. He's a shop and everything. If you want to visit Charlie Keating, he'll give you golf lessons. Right. So you're going, Kerry, by possibly 5 or 6. John?
5 to 7.
5
we'll
to
call it.
7.
Yeah.
No, it's actually 28. What about you?
I think it'll be tighter, but I'll still go Kerry between 2 and 4.
I'll go with Kerry between 6 and 8, so I'm going a little bit above you.
Yeah.
6 to 8, you're going 2 to 4. And 3 of us are going Kerry. What
Yeah.
a shock.
What a shock.
What a
Kerry
shock.
people think Kerry are good at football.
3 Kerry pundits think Kerry are going to beat Dublin. What a shock.
Well, no, honestly,
Yeah.
but
But it wouldn't shock me
No, but
if it was a draw.
if I thought Kerry were going to lose, I'd say it. And you'd be the same, John.
Yeah,
I don't. This
yeah.
sort of, I would never tip anyone because
Like I
they're
said,
from, any Kerry team because they're from Kerry.
My only worry is too many undercooked players going into a heaving heat wave of Croke Park on Sunday against the fired up
remember,
Dubs.
How
the
good?
bench,
How good?
The bench.
That's what.
have
That's
the
why I'm thinking the bench.
But at the same time, like I said, they're men on a mission.
Start Tom O'Sullivan.
They're men on a
Jack.
mission. They've turned the corner.
Start Tom
But
O'Sullivan. Jack.
How good are we do have
Listen
to score
to
now?
this
How good are Dublin?
podcast.
Because
Yeah.
they were absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Mystic
6 weeks
Mark
ago.
has asked
Exactly.
O'Connor.
So
We still don't know the true
Thomas
Dublin
we
either.
don't know the truth. They mightn't be as good as we potentially fear they might
Yeah.
be. And they mightn't
be as bad as Mort thinks they are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. With that bit of frivolity from John O'Dowd, which is not normal, he's a very serious fellow normally, takes life very seriously when he's in the bog. Anyway, thanks, John.
Thanks, Mort.
And that was very entertaining. Thank you, Damien. You
thanks,
kind
Mort.
of you were kind of the glue that kept us together, or kept us apart, really, from fisticuffs. But no, interesting discussion. I feel we went through every aspect of it, from the midfield to our backs against their forwards, their backs against our forwards, the bench, who should start, who shouldn't start, how much we're going to win by. Would it be a shock if Dublin wins? Panel thinks no, but highly unlikely at this stage. But whatever it is, we hope you enjoy the match if you go to Croke Park, and we hope you enjoy this podcast and you will view it and enjoy it and come back to us again when we look back next week at this. We look at the semi-final, and we'll either be in tears and talking about how wrong we were, or we'll be looking forward to an All-Ireland final. And of course, it would not be possible to have this Kingdom Calls podcast without the sponsorship by Cronin's 00 Cider. And it has had such an effect on Damien that he has bought 12 bottles. And
I really like it.
Indeed, we are going to devour the rest towards the weekend when the sun shines in Ballybunnin. And also, of course, the Parker's Bar, who have been so good to us, and they have a busy weekend here, and they'll have that Cayley coming. I'll tell you more about the Cayley next week, and I think that Damien Stack is going to do a small bit of research on that.
I'll do a jig.
And he'll do a jig.
I'll do a jig if we win by 6 to 7.
Another man
or
who
5 to
can
7
do
points.
a forehand reel, and there's only one of them there, is our magnificent producer, cameraman. He'll have it on Spotify.
Do you think he gets sick of listening to us?
I think that's where he wears the yoke bobs round his ear, not to hear us, but his ear muffs.
Sound
that he can't hear us.
cancelling.
So John C. O'Shea, thank you very much. He travelled all the way from Killarney on a bike, and he deserves to be here in the sunshine in his shorts. So that's it for this week's podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. And as I said, we'll be back next week, and it'll be very interesting to see, was I right and were the boys wrong? We leave it at
Again.
that. Again. This is Mort Murphy signing off.